Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Frieren, Season 2, Episode 9. We are departing the ruined village where we've fought the Divine Revolte, and we are saying goodbye to Geno and, sadly, Methode. She made an offer to join us in our travels northward as a priest and bring both wizard powers and priest powers to the party, but we are not going to cheat on Sign. He is the priest of our party, says Frieren. So on we go, and off we see Methode and Geno as they head off in their own direction. We've only got 2 episodes left of Frieren, guys, which is a little bit sad, but I'm looking forward to savoring them, and last episode, episode 8, kind of satisfied my Sakuga cravings for this season, so I'm pretty happy with pretty much whatever Frieren decides to throw at us. I would love to strengthen and solidify our themes, or come back around to something that we've done previously in the season. There have been a lot of episodes about seeking for something and not quite finding it, and those have been pretty interesting. There have been episodes about, like, preparing for something and trying to make it work perfectly, and then it not going very well. I'm thinking about the date in particular. And Fern and Stark's romantic tension has been an ongoing theme through the season, so I would love if we rehash any and all of those in these last couple of episodes, especially if we could get a rehashed date between Stark and Fern. I don't necessarily expect that to happen this season, maybe a further in the future sort of thing, but those are the things that I'd really like to resonate here with in the last couple of episodes, sort of like re-ring and harmonize with what we've put into the past episodes of Frieren, kind of make it all feel like it's all tied together. That would be, like, ideal to me. But, as I said, Sakuga stuff, I'm clear, I'm satisfied. Emotional, interpersonal stuff and cool journeying and things, I'm pretty satisfied. So whatever Frieren wants to do, whether it wants to repeat some of those, or introduce some new themes, or do basically anything, laugh around, have a fan service episode, go to the beach, I don't really care. I'm down for the whole shebang, for the whole experience. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch some more Frieren. It's gonna be good. I expect it to be great. Not in a way where I'm like setting the bar really high and then I'll be disappointed, which we've talked about in Frieren previously, but just like, this is a good show and I continue to expect good things and I'm excited to watch more of it. Especially after wrapping this arc that felt like it had a little bit more build up to it, a little bit more cohesion to it, a little bit more of a story to it. I'd love to return to the daily grind of wandering the world, and our episode title, Himmel's Memoirs, makes me think that we're going to do exactly that. My inkling is that somebody will offer a grimoire, but not a grimoire. Instead, something a little bit more personal as exchange for a deal or a piece of work that they'll do or something like that. But I don't really know. And beyond that, I'm really curious why, if Himmel wrote memoirs, assuming in his older age, why would they be up this far north as opposed to down in the city where he ended up living out his last days? I don't know. Maybe they're fake. Maybe it's a lie. Maybe it's just a myth or a legend that people have spun up around this hero who passed through some decades ago. I don't know. We're going to have to watch the episode and find out, and I'm excited to do so. But as usual, I have something that I want to draw, and it's a weird one for today, so we're going to dive into it, and we'll see how it goes. Now, I don't usually do this. Let me see you break off a piece of that remix. Okay, I don't normally do this, or anything like it. This will be basically the first time I've done anything in this field of art at all. I've done a lot of, like, paper cut, done a lot of individual drawings. I've done one thing like this. I did a little sequence where I tried to draw kind of an explosion, sort of a scene of a character dropping from the sky and impacting the ground and then rushing at the camera. And I was just fucking around trying to figure out how those pieces would fit together. And that's, like, the only thing that I've ever drawn with the intent of genuinely animating it. But something in the previous episode kind of broke my brain, and I don't think that I will understand it until I try to draw it, probably a dozen times, probably 10 dozen times or whatever, but I want to start that process. I want to begin attempting to wrap my brain, using my hands, wrap my brain around this idea. and you'll recognize it immediately as the walking scene. I don't know what else to call it. There's a demon girl and she walks forward, and there's all this secondary movement happening as she walks forward, and I want to copy it. Not by looking at it, but by trying to use what I think are the principles in play to make that piece of animation work, and experimenting, taking that hypothesis, putting it on paper, and failing. And I presume, I guess, my assumption is that what I'm about to draw will suck and not work. But I'm going to draw it anyway, because that's how I'm going to make any sort of progress. And it feels like all of the time that I've spent watching other people's art or looking at instructional manuals or books about how to do it only gets you so far. At a certain point, you can't just read the guitar books. You have to actually pick up the guitar. You can't just read the science books. You have to actually go and experiment and see things in the lab. And when it comes to drawing or animation, you can't just read the books and observe the things and really grok what's going on. You have to actually put pen to paper and make things happen. Or in this case, pencil. So I'm going to fold this paper into 8, hopefully equal rectangles. And then I'm going to draw basically the same thing in all 8 of the rectangles. And then later on, I'm going to take a picture of it, and then I'm going to string them all together, and I'm going to turn it into a tiny little looped piece of animation, and maybe it'll work, or maybe it'll look like absolute garbage, but either way, I'm going to learn a whole bunch in the process. So thank you for joining me. If you're joining me, I will speed this up for the majority of the thing, but just for this talking portion here in the beginning, just wanted to talk you through what my idea is and what I'm going to try to accomplish. So here we go. Also, I'm going to draw this as stick figures, straight up full-on stick figures, because what I'm trying to capture here is not high fidelity art, it is movement. And you don't really need something to be very clear or pretty or exciting in order to move effectively. Okay. So we got 4 panels, and now we've got 8 panels. Boom. I need a marker of some kind to make sure that everything's lined up with everything else. So I should mark the center point of each panel, which I could do by folding them in half again, but I don't really want to. Ruler! I'll do the same from the top for the head placement. And then I probably also want to do this to mark 2. Okay. That's my whole layout. Oh shit, I forgot that I had this. Okay. I'll use this one. No, it's this one. Mark where the shoulders are. There we go. Okay, so that's right foot forward, left foot back, right arm forward, left arm forward, right arm back. Classic contra bing bong. I probably should have drawn the hips like this, like a flat across. It's fine. I guess I will draw the opposite here. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I have no idea if these are anywhere near close, but now I'm gonna do the part that I think actually matters, because this is actually what I'm trying to figure out here. Sort of a weird object. I was thinking like the side of a skirt or like a piece of cloth. It just kind of looks like a dong, doesn't it? Just looks like a dick wiggling around. Fuck. It's okay. I'm gonna keep drawing it. It's cloth. It's cloth. It's cloth. It's a piece of cloth. Okay. So this is my question. God, it looks so gross. It looks so bad. I'm gonna erase them all. I'll do like a cape. There we go. Okay. So this is my full drawing for the day. It's the weirdest thing I've ever drawn. Kind of reminds me of Poon Poon for a weird reason. I guess it's the like kind of looks like an eye from far away, and then there's like a bird beak, I guess. I don't know. My question is whether, one, did I draw a walk cycle that actually looks like it's walking? I don't know, because my brain doesn't compute a bunch of panels to animation effectively. I don't know. I'm going to have to take a picture of this, split them up into frames, I'm going to put them into GIMP, and I'm going to create an animation out of them. And I have no idea what it's going to look like. I'll put it here in the video, but me having drawn this, I have no idea. And I'm not going to go and deal with it right now. I'm going to do that after the fact. So editing me might come back and talk to you about it. Hey, editing me here. I'm just going to put the animation here and loop it a couple of times so that you can see it for yourself. I think it's okay. Question number 2. First one is, did I draw a walk cycle? Does it actually look like this thing is walking, or did I fuck something fundamental up in my understanding of what a walk cycle should look like from the ground up, and do I need to study that from first principles? Probably. My guess is probably. Second, if I did make a walk cycle that looks anything like a walk cycle, does adding this secondary movement on the ones make it look more like a walk cycle? Does it make it look better? Does it look like there's wind whipping through the scene? Does it add something? Does it just look like shitty, weird shit flailing around the way that stuff does when you just smash a bunch of frames together and they're not equal? They're not, like, matched up effectively. I don't know. And then, I guess, question number 3 is, am I an addict? Am I going to be addicted to doing this now? Because if so, that puts me on the path to actually animating things. And that would be a really interesting path for me to travel down. And I have no idea. I've kept myself from doing it, in part because I keep feeling like I'm not ready. Like, there's some threshold of quality of art that I need to cross before I can start to try to make it move. And I sort of woke up and was like, wait, why? Why? Well, because you need foundations and you need basics and you need understanding, but there are these principles of the way that things are glued together, the closure effect, the way that we see, the way that we experience animation moving, that don't necessarily require high fidelity drawings. And the more that I see of really incredible animation that is focused on shape stretching and movement shifting, the more that I realize that I'd really like to pursue that as an artistic form, as a way of expressing. But to break into it feels like it's very difficult. It feels like, first off, I need to overcome some threshold of quality of art before I can make it move. And number 2, there are, like, material concerns. Like, I don't have a light board or a light panel or anything. I don't have a pegboard to put papers down on, let alone a hole punch to punch the holes in them. But if I enjoy doing this, I might want to make or acquire those so that I can do this, so that I can draw things and make them move. I think there would be no better step that I could take as a critic, as a reviewer and observer, than to try to at least dip my toes into the medium that I'm critiquing and get a little bit of a better understanding of just how difficult, how much work goes into it, and how kind of incredible it is to make things come to life. I don't know if this will come to life. Maybe it'll be a shitty wiggle, you know? But it's a start. And I'm glad to have this starting point on camera and recorded to show my thought process and to show my future self and maybe future people who are interested in pursuing this kind of a thing as a personal and maybe even professional pursuit, to have an example of somebody starting from basically nothing and figuring out where they're at. And maybe we'll go somewhere interesting from there. I don't know. I don't know if it fits the themes of Frieren exactly, but it runs in parallel to some extent. Sometimes it's worth starting on a journey that you don't know the destination of. Sometimes it's worth starting on a hobby that doesn't have a specific end game or purpose, you know? A quest that doesn't really line up with all the rest of your quests. Sometimes you can find pieces of yourself that you didn't realize that you were missing by going out into the world and exploring, especially if you explore within the space of things that you already care about. It's like the easiest life hack pro tip for finding purpose that I've discovered is like, okay, you want to find purpose? You live in a purposeless world. What compels you? What are you drawn to? Go do that. Go do some part of that. Go talk about that. Go talk about how cool you find that. And that's a start, right? Because, like, trying to grapple with the big question of what do I do in the world and what do I do to make myself feel like I'm worth something in the world. Maybe turn first to the things in the world that are worth something to you and then see if you can make more of those. And that's like kind of foolproof, right? Like if you like video games and you think they're a good thing in the world, make more of them and you will be producing a thing that you think is good in the world. That's kind of incredible. If you like books and you appreciate what books do to your mind, consider writing books. At the very least, even if you don't go anywhere with it, even if you don't really get that much out of it, you will have tried a thing and uncovered the information about that thing, you know? Even if it doesn't go anywhere, even if at the end of everything that liquor tastes like shit, it will have been worthwhile to pursue it because it was worth it to you. So, even if this is shit, I think it will have been worthwhile to me, and it might just open a door for me into a new world. We'll have to see. For now, I'm going to put it up, and then we're going to watch some Frieren. Okay, I've got Season 2, Episode 9 up and ready to go, and I'm ready to find out what Himmel's memoirs have hiding. Let's go ahead and watch it. There'll be 2 versions, picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube, early access on the Patreon, and a beep-beep timer to count you down. Let's go. Seems like comfy travel times. Oh, hello! Hello, Denkin the not dwarf, who is a human, and people have let me know very, very much that he's not a dwarf. Me and my racism toward beards. What are you gonna do? These Norn? Yeah, these are Norn people. Are we gonna run into him? Okay. Ooh, ooh. I hope you didn't hear that. Where are we going, Dankin? Got some somber vibes here. OP? Okay. Okay. I can't imagine that he's looking for Himmel's memoirs. So, I wonder if we're gonna collide or if that's just a separate setup. Drachen region. Now we're rebuilding. What happened here? This isn't the village that we just left, right? Completely different architecture. Oh, in the Drachen region. Man, dragons be everywhere. A whole flock. The little chicks. A flight? A herd? A murder? Holy shit. Are they at least small dragons? Competing with each other for food? Not growing super big? Ooh. So this is just normal rebuilding. Same shit, different place. But you're gonna die if you stay here. Maybe she knows... Yeah, maybe she knows something you don't. We should have brought Matone! Got any grimoires? Oh, we'll take it. We'll take it. Oh! Glorious. We'll take it. Magic acquired. Oh, that's so much fun. I was wondering if we were gonna like flashback and it was gonna be some thing where Hemo made fun of her for not being able to tongue twister. Oh shit, dude. Wait, are we doing a trace? That's... I don't know what's happening, but it's really cool. Oh, it's a compass. It's a compass to track the thing that made the scar. Bro. Bro. Bro, cool magic, so cool. All the little cool magics are so fucking cool. I used to literally daydream about having magic like that. Pat me on the back more. Yeah. We gotta be careful about when we praise her. We're trying to... We're trying to Pavlov her. We're trying to Pavlov her. A child who's like 10,000 years old? But also 10? Maybe 8? God, traveling montage. Why do I love this shit so much? Why do I love this shit so much? This is cool. Okay, this is actually beyond cool. Oh, we found a center point. We're just guessing? Oh, fuck! You gonna kill a whole population of Durgans? Seems sad. Like, are dragons like demons? Are they just innately evil? Or are they just creatures, man? He is an experienced dragon fighter. You got it, bro. Oh, shit. Now, we could really go off with this. Or we could not. Jesus, that's a lot of Durgans. He's Katamariing the dragons! Ow. Ow! Okay. Yeah, so we could go really hard, or we could do that. That was reasonable. We used our Sakuga last episode for the most part. Solid, fine. Good job, buddy. You just got chomped a couple times. You'll be fine. Oh, you'll be fine. He's already perfectly good. Fighter stuff, dude. Yeah, it's fighter stuff. He's just got a lot of HP. The book. I can say the tongue twisters. That's really pretty. Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting. Wonder what his reasoning for that is. It reminds me of like doctors who would take whatever people had to give, whether that was eggs or hmm, an empty notebook. I'll take that as payment. That became his notebook. Okay, I'm guessing it has something to do with their gratitude. Like, bingo, exactly. Like feeling that they owe a debt. Exactly the same with the doctors. People won't go because they feel bad about it. But if they can give you an egg from their farm, they'll feel like there's been a trade. Or debts owed. Brilliant. Brilliant. That's brilliant. Wow. The tongue twister spell. Yeah, that's that too. That too. It can be both. Like it can be both. It's not a zero sum game. That's really cute. Wait, what's going on there? Oh, he's on a finger. Oh, cozy little spot. Hmm. Mm. Oh, what did he misplace? Can't find his notebook. So we're gonna be stuck here. Oi, oi. You fucking kidding? Maybe not. Hi, fishy. Just throw. Lake Superior. So it all channels through. Hmm. Hmm. Way worse. Not a good idea. We just gotta wait it out. This little taking care of her sequence is so cute. Damn. Just stall here for months? Yeah. Bing, 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 bing. What can we do? We gotta come up with something. Nope, we're just doing exactly what they did. That's cool. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fish for a long time. And we could be helpful. There's a little magic shop. This guy just sits out here. Yep. Eating your fish pies. What else are you gonna do? Oh, and it cleared. We spent our months. Wow. Uh. Yeah, yeah. No. No. Oh, jeez. We weren't working during that time? We weren't doing stuff around town? Okay. A quest. Oh. Did he now? But the barrier. So he did lose them before that moment. Whoa. Did we actually go to that? Or is that the was that where they were staying? That was pretty. Cool. Wow. Across this big lake, huh? A land of gold. Whoa. I wonder if that's related to heaven, to Auri AU. Wonder what that was. That was some big question mark unknown for next episode, methinks. Maybe it'll be for this episode, who knows? Well, that's cool. Not exactly a flamme barrier, huh? More books! Pop! That was beautiful. Beautiful bubblegum pop. I wonder how they made their way here anyway. Is that it, but just color faded? I don't think so. Oh, wow. It's all his memoirs. Does she remember where he made that one? Is that the book? Faded? Uh-huh. Wow. We're in Himo's perspective. Seeing through his eyes for the first time, huh? Whoa. Reliving through his memories. And looking at Frieren and seeing her, yeah. And then it ends because he lost it. Is there something on the last page? No, just blank pages. I wonder if she'll continue it. Or if she'll give it to him. Just like our story, right? It's the parts that actually matter. That's cool. That's cool. Hey, wait a second. I can feel the nostalgia coming off of you, girl. Thank you. I like that. Okay. Yeah, I'll make my fare back in spades for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow, for a little micro story, that was a lot. Into the sunset. This could be a really good end of season. Email wood. Oh shit! Careful what you wish for! We're doing this as an end of episode joke. That's so stupid. Blah. 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 Incredible. What good vibes all around. I think this could be a solid end of season finale episode because of the Hemo tie-in and all these things. I wonder if the next episode will be as good or better as a season finisher. It's hard for me to imagine, honestly. This is it's pretty excellent. It hits two really great thematic elements. The one is the trades, the ode, the debt, and the other is like the minutiae of the journey, the things that matter that don't matter. Fuck, man. The show remains so consistent at I don't know, repeating these themes. To say repeat makes it feel like it's repetitive, but that's not right. It's like solidifying, amplifying, adding. Okay, little ending. Everyone's going to look at a beautiful sight together. So it seems like this will be something that we have covered or crossed or seen on the first journey, and then we'll come to see again. And that seems like a good way to resonate with like the way things change over time, the way that actions done in the past impact the present and impact the future. That seems really cool. I think this episode was also really cool. There are a bunch of little stories here, and I think I would have been happy with any single one of them being sort of the focus of the episode, but with all of them together, and the span of crossing a number of months stuck in a particular village, it feels like we're back in that long-term journeying overland travel vibe that takes up so much of Frieren and resonates so perfectly with the final emotional thematic beat of the episode, which is about the minutiae of the journey, the daily things that don't really matter, that matter oh so much because they're all the memories and they're the things that build the bond and they're the time spent together and they're the connections and they're the meat and potatoes of the journey, right? Of the adventure. And there's something about that, something about the way that Hemel says, like, cheer up, everybody, we're on a big grand adventure. And sometimes that means a bunch of mediocre days, one after another. And that's just how it is. Combined with uh, the minutiae being written down and how much sort of care he's putting into writing down all the minutiae of that journey. It's really cool. And it also, I mean, when you take notes like that about the experiences that you have in your life, you're in a process that isn't just writing them down, you're making meaning out of those things. You're cementing them into your mind, into your memory, and you're also cementing what they meant, what they were worth to you, why they were valuable. And that like fundamentally alters the experience you're having. It dramatically expands how much like fidelity you can maintain in your memories as you go forward. I have one of my players in my D&D game takes detailed personal from their character's perspective notes, very much like Hemel's memoir, and has a notebook that's even just a couple sessions in was filled with notes, more notes on the other characters in the party than they had about their own characters. Like he had a better understanding of who they were and what they had gone through and what they were continuing to go through because of this process of note taking from his character's perspective. And I think it really improves his view on the journey and like his understanding of what's going on. For Hemel to do that and put this effort into cherishing the tiny moments, the connections between the characters, the little things that they experience, it's like a really strong doubling down on the one of the core themes of Frieren, which ties in like the finitude of life and the need to cherish every element, especially if you have a short lifespan, to the power of these unimportant moments and the connections between the characters and stuff. And it just feels right on. It feels right on. I said at the beginning that I would love if we had something that resonated deeply with the themes of Frieren moving, going back into the past, and I think this is pretty primo, perfect example of that, focusing on not just the journey over the destination or anything like that, but what it is that makes a journey exciting and interesting. It's the minutiae. It's not the big fights necessarily, although those are big punctuation marks, big points of interest. But the daily experience is the life well lived, and living it well and trying to like note it down go hand in hand. It's like I want to be able to look back on this moment as something that I can put in my memoirs as something cool that happened, that was an important or a valuable piece of the minutiae. And so I'm going to cherish and look out for all of the things that I might be wanting to keep as memories forever, you know? And that means that the whole journey is full of little wins and little victories and little intrigues and little interesting things that catch your attention and hold your memory for a little while. And how can you be bored, or how can you be like down on a journey like that when it's always new and always full of things, because you're always keeping an eye out for those things? I I think it's really great. I think it's really cool. I think it's easily yoinkable for your own personal life, is like, keep a journal. Why not? Keep a mental journal if you want to. Think through your days, what things you would want to write down in that journal, and what memories from today you might want to keep close. Because if you don't have some practice like that, and I'm realizing that I don't really have a practice like that besides this, but without some practice like that, the days slip together, and those little pieces that could be highlights, could be little stars in the night sky, could be little accent points that fill up your days, weeks, months, years with little bits of delight, little interactions that you hold on to and cherish, little moments, little wins, little losses, little experiences that make every day different. I think without those, they can all blend together, and you look back and a year has passed, 2 years have passed, and it doesn't, a couple big events stand out, but not enough to fill even an episode of anime. And it's like, where did all of that go? Disappeared in one ear, out the other, into your eyes and out through your sleep, and you wake up the next day refreshed and like, I don't really remember what I did or ate yesterday. And then 2 weeks go by and it's gone completely, unless something really impactful happened. So maybe some practice like this of actively seeking things worth cherishing in your day-to-day life might lead you to literally have a better life. Yeah, because you're actively choosing to, and because you're choosing to remember it, so that when you're 80 on your deathbed, world permitting, don't get heart disease, don't smoke. When you're 80 on your deathbed, you have not a dozen memories, but hundreds and hundreds of little memories and interactions and moments that make your life feel like it was worthwhile, because it was, because you lived it in a way where it was like looking for the worth in it. That's a really cool idea. I think it's a really cool idea, and it's a very female idea. I wonder what this setup for Denkin is. We hold him here, and then we disappear, and it's just over. I thought we were going to focus on that this episode. We do not. On that note, there are kind of a bunch of things in the episode, including a montage through a number of months and some travel time and kind of a bunch of different things. And I like that feeling, given that we were in one place for a couple episodes back to back. Feels cool. We hit a theme that we've hit before. The North is very dangerous to live in. We approach a place, it's like, why do people live here? You should probably fucking move. It's really dangerous. And the answer is, we can't. This is our home. This is where we stay. I love the little burbs. The little burbs hanging out around Stark and Fern are so cute. Please slay the dragon flight. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds really dangerous. You should probably leave. That was a cruel thing to say. I feel sorry for the villagers, and they use our words against her. We protect other people's homes. Yes? Yeah. As long as we can ask for some pay. But why do we need pay when this village is so obviously poor and in need? And at this point, like, I got it out in just a second. I was like, it has something to do with the debt. But I was thinking that people won't ask for favors because they feel like they'll be indebted. I think that people do that. And when there's some feeling like it's not a handout, like it's a fair trade, like, you're not giving me a meal, I'm going to work for it. I'm going to do something for it. I'm going to give you something for it. Then the balance sheet is squared is a good way to think about it. And then they don't have to feel like they're in debt. You don't saddle the people you're helping with a sense of like guilt for having to rely on you, because then you're just taking more from them than you're giving them in some way. Yeah. And this is it's a really interesting twist, because we think of transactional interactions, we think of requesting or demanding something in return for favor as a negative trait, as a bad thing, as like greedy or maybe manipulative or miserly, right? Just give of yourself. But, well, mutualism's better than one-sidedness, almost always. And in the case that you can make a trade that doesn't subtract from the things that the other person needs, and maybe doesn't benefit you either, but does benefit them just in the psychological sense that they feel like they don't owe you something, maybe that can be worthwhile, maybe more worthwhile than giving it to them as a gift. Because, like, gratitude, neat, but it also takes something from somebody when you save them. That's the way to put it. And I think about this in it's strange, but the context where this comes up in my mind is in the context of emotionally abusive relationships, where helping somebody continuously is a way to continuously weaken them so that they become more and more reliant on you. And I think that this episode presents a potential antidote to that in certain circumstances where somebody doesn't really have something to offer, but they do have needs. And you, as a second party to this situation, are able to fulfill those needs. How do you do that in a way that doesn't kneecap or handicap the person who has those needs? Fulfilling those needs, good. Doing that in a way that weakens their ability to fulfill their own needs in the future, not good. And even if that's psychological, building up a psychological reliance on others, that doesn't necessarily turn out so great. So maybe finding a way to produce what feels like even a 1% fair quid pro quo. I'll do this for you as long as you do this for me, even if that's something simple and like self-perpetuating or something like a task that they're given that makes their own life better. Whatever it is, if there's some trade involved, then it doesn't feel like a handout. It doesn't feel like pity. And when you put somebody in the position of being pitied and requiring assistance from outside and not being able to give back to it, that can really tear people up. It robs them of agency, of control over their own hardship, of the ability to feel like they're pulling themselves out of it, and giving the, it's strange to say, but giving the opportunity for them to give back to you in whatever small way they can levels out the balance sheet and lets them continue on in a sense, instead of saying, oh, thank goodness for these benevolent heroes who've come and saved my life, they can say, well, I traded with these heroes, so I had a part in saving my own life. And that can be really powerful, I think. Like, I had 1% agency in that, and at least that means that I wasn't 100% reliant on Superman to come and save the day. It's not everything, but it's something, and it's a powerful little something. So I love that we take useless spells. It's really lovely, and I love the way that that comes in and harmonizes with the rest of what I feel and understand about Himel's attitude toward helping other people. How it's a necessity for somebody to stand up and save the houses of people who can't protect their own homes, to protect people who can't protect themselves, to be a hero. But doing so can weaken the people you're the hero for in a strange way. You want to be an inspiration that lasts generations. How do you act to make that as effective as possible? Not just in the present when you're killing monsters and saving people, but for those people to integrate that and turn it into a piece of their internal story in a way that doesn't rob them of agency, that doesn't rob them of control over their own lives. I think it's kind of brilliant and beautiful and easily takeable from your own for your own real world situation. There are times when you giving something with no strings is the best possible thing that you can do. And there are times when attaching a string to it can actually be a lifeline for the person who you're helping. That feeling like they can repay you in some way, preferably some way that doesn't hurt them, and actually if it can be some way that helps them, if you can manage that, it might be amazing. But if you can give them, and I say give them, the opportunity to repay you, there's something really beautiful to that. I brought it up during the reaction directly, but there are stories, some of them fictional, some of them literal, of country doctors and country veterinarians who would go to, do house calls to farms, to ranches, to people who survive week to week, month to month, season to season off their crops, and for portions of the year would have nothing to pay. True poverty, right? And so many of these doctors would operate within their community as a community doctor who was in some ways supported by the community because the value of having a doctor in the community was so important. And a lot of that support would come in the proceeds from their ranches, right? Often there wouldn't be cash lying around to pay the doctor. So fresh eggs every week while we've got fresh eggs would show up at the doctor's door, or a little basket with produce in it would show up at the doctor's door. And that would be the payment that they would get for the saving that kid whose tooth got rotten and he was going to fucking die from it. And you get this mutualism going where the doctor saves the kid's life because it's what the doctor is there to do. And on one level, the doctor would probably do that even without any payment. But the people of the farm wouldn't be able to live with themselves if they were to take the doctor's goodwill like that. And so they give him fresh milk from their cows or fresh butter, right? They do something to repay, and off the back of that, a community is forged. And I think that those kinds of communal bonds are infinitely stronger than putting down your health insurance card and the doctor gets paid their piece through all sorts of third parties and stuff. And you don't really have a connection like that. Not to say that we should go back to the world of country doctors doing house calls, but in some ways that would be a lot better than what we have now. So all this to say that I think it's really freaking cool that Himmel has come up with this theory of how to give in an effective and like psychologically efficient way. It's a weird way to phrase it, but that is sort of what I'm thinking. It doesn't add a bunch of negative externalities to the interaction that make it less worthwhile than it would otherwise be, because to save somebody should be an unalloyed good, but saving somebody can actually cause them problems. And we cover that a lot in like the Monogatari series and places where characters attempt heroism and find that they can't always make it work, and sometimes supporting and helping and saving people who haven't necessarily asked for it can be negative for them. Like winning the lottery ticket, it can destroy you. Mundane magic. This is pretty cool magic. It's not that mundane, but holy shit. Ripping like a spirit version of a claw mark off the thing and turning it into a magic compass that rotates. And then we do this whole scene. I think we've seen this animator before. I'm wondering if it's the Serie Dip Feet animator or if it's somebody else. I think we've seen them before. I can't remember where. But this whole montage scene where we follow it with the hand locked in and we're going over a bunch of different locations and it's just moving static with it is really cool. That was a really cool POV sequence. I don't understand the stick up in the air thing. I just don't quite get what we did there. It's like we hit a point where the thing doesn't work and then we threw a stick to just choose a random direction. That was my guess on it. Because they do walk in the direction the stick is pointing, so I don't know. And then we have a bunch of Durgans, just a fuckload of dragons, and you gotta have a question here. It's like, are they gonna go balls to the wall for this fight, given that they just went balls to the wall for the previous fight? Probably not. So are we gonna do a balls to the wall fight, or are we mostly gonna do, like, big lizard who jumped out of a castle? We end up somewhere in between. This all looks reasonable, but it's not like crazy Sakuga extravaganza, yeah? A whole bunch of it is shot in wides, which are cool. They're neat. No problem with them, but they're not, like, spectacular, yeah? Cool dragons. and an insane battle to have Stark flipping around and fighting dozens of these things. It's neat, but again, not spectacular. This is not a Yutaka Nakamura cut, and really, for the most part, there isn't a set of cuts that really wows me in this sequence. The dragon's moving, look good. Getting bitten in the head looks bad for him, but good in general. And then the big wide, yeah, this dropping from the sky moment and all the beams going is pretty cool. But I think the primary cut in this sequence is Stark dropping from the sky in a moment. This one, and it's pretty cool, exciting. Get a little blast of slow mo before he does the big beam, but then it's just kind of over and we're done, and that's fine. Good sequence, but it's like 45 seconds of the episode, bam wham, intense battle, and we're done. Opportunity to talk about how is it that you're fine after getting chomped on by a dragon? That's probably normal for warriors. Maybe it's something not normal. Maybe there's something crazy about Stark. I don't really know. But here is the grimoire. Hey, so why do you demand payment? Well, Himmel did. Well, I thought he would be helping people for free. It's a hero thing. Yeah. You deserve more, but our village is poor. We can't accept their food. And then he realizes the grimoire. But it's not a grimoire, it's just a notebook. So that's what he trades for, and it becomes his memoirs. And then those are the memoirs that we find at the end of things. It's pretty great. So why do you demand the payment? If they pay us, they don't owe us. I've already covered this in my own speech for the most part. I'm not going to rehash those ideas too much, but I think it's brilliant. The gift of freedom from guilt is an added gift that Himmel has managed to work into his heroic acts. And I think it takes a real understanding of psychology of people's minds to come to this kind of a conclusion. And I think it's really brilliant and really, really beautiful. We are the party of heroes. We don't want words of gratitude or debts. If we make them indebted, we haven't really helped them. And so I'll take even ridiculous spells as payment. It's brilliant. It's really great. So we end up stuck in a place and Himmel loses his thing. And he says, we're on an adventure to defeat the Demon King. Cheer up. Adventures aren't just about strolling around in the great outdoors. Sometimes an adventure can just be a bunch of crappy days in a row. That's cool. That's cool. It's an attitude reframe. It's like, yeah, these last couple of days, they've sucked, but we're still on an adventure. We're still in the middle of it. This is part of the up and down, and at some point we'll end up up. So let's not get too overwhelmed by being down. There's something called the rule of thirds that I came across from an Olympic runner, and I've brought it up a couple of times. An Olympic athlete. I think she was a runner. I brought it up a couple times. I'm going to go look for it and make sure that I get it right. Yeah, okay. Alexi Papas is a Greek-American runner, and she presented in a podcast somewhere a mental framework that she called the rule of thirds that was introduced to her by her coach. And it had to do with her training. When she's training for the Olympics in Rio, when you're working towards something difficult, something hard, success, the path to it is rarely a straight line. Almost never, right? It's always ups and downs. But how should those ups and downs feel? The rule of thirds is what her coach presented to her and what she's used as her sort of basis. There should be about thirds. About a third of the time, you should be having a good third, like primo third. You're breaking PRs, you're pushing boundaries, you're feeling good, you're excelling, you're reaping rewards, you're getting it, right? If you're a runner, you're decreasing your times, you're increasing your feeling of connection with the ground, whatever. It's like it's clicking, it's working, it's going. You're doing it, and you feel on, right? Those days when you go to the gym or you go to the track and you run, it's like that was a good workout. I feel great. I could have competed today and it would have been awesome. A third of the time should be okay. You're doing maintenance work. You're doing the grind. You're on it. You feel okay. There's a mixed bag. Maybe you're a little injured. Maybe you're not feeling 100%, but you're there to do the grind. You're there to do the daily work, and it's going fine. It's just the way it is. It's just another day doing the practice, doing the training, pushing toward the thing. And then there should be about a crappy third. And during that crappy third, you should be struggling. You will be fatigued. You will doubt whether you're actually making progress. You will be moving 2 steps backward for every 1 step forward. You'll feel down and out of energy and burned out and not there. And the framework that like makes this all come together is to say the crappy third is not abnormal. It's not an indicator that you're failing, that you're doing it wrong. It's actually just an indicator that things are normal. This is how you should expect pursuit of any primary major goal should be. So you're, doing drawings every day. You should expect about a third of them to be kind of mediocre and you didn't really know what you were doing. And about a third of them to be like, wow, fuck, that was cool. How did that happen? That was really nice. I want to keep doing that. And about a third of them to be like, fuck, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do here. This didn't turn out the way that I wanted. I'm staring at a blank paper and just empty of ideas and can't come up with anything. So you can apply this to literally anything that you're pursuing. How often do you hit a couple days in a row of the crappy third where things aren't going so great and you go, well, this is a wash. This whole thing, this whole journey, this whole self-improvement track that I'm on, it's fucked. I've hit the point of no return, right? It's all gonna go downhill from here because it's been downhill for like 3 days. It was good for like 3 days, and then it was mediocre for like 3 days, and now it's downhill for 3 days, and we're done. We're done. But probably day 4 of those 3 days would be mediocre or good afterward because this is how it works when you're pushing for something. Now you can completely burn yourself out. You can get injured to the point where the rest of your life is going to be crappy thirds, whatever, right? But as a general rule, when things are going well, things are going as they should, when you're training the way an Olympic athlete or a professional musician or a future artist would be training, you're going to feel like crap about a third of the time. And that's like so freeing. It's so freeing as an idea to be like, I'm on this beautiful journey towards something amazing. And every day of it doesn't feel beautiful or amazing. I must be doing something wrong. Well, if it's about a third of the days that don't feel beautiful or amazing, and about a third of them do feel pretty great, and about a third of them are somewhere in the middle, you're probably just about right. You're probably exactly where you need to be. And if they all feel like good days, you might not be pushing hard enough. You might not be driving yourself to the point of growth because you're staying in the easy space. And if it's all crappy, you might be pushing yourself too hard, or you might not be cut out for this particular pursuit that you're in, and it might be worthwhile to reevaluate and decide whether this ratio is right for you, whether that's changing direction or just altering the way that you're pursuing the direction that you're pursuing. It doesn't really matter, but it's an indicator that maybe things aren't right. But up to about 33% of the time, being bad is probably okay, is probably fine. And the same goes for your like daily wake up and exist and survive till you're 80 type of stuff that you're trying to do. The daily life stuff. Sometimes you're going to wake up and you're going to feel great. And you're going to take your shower and you're going to make your coffee or your tea and you're going to go for a walk and you're going to read a book and you're going to feel great and you're going to have a good day and you're going to do your work and everything will come together and you'll go to bed and you'll be like, wow, that was a great day. And sometimes you're going to wake up feeling like shit on a shingle and you're going to be like, ugh. I just want to be dead. I just want to be not alive and just lay in bed for the rest of the day. And that's fine. That's totally normal. You're not destroyed. You're not necessarily depressed unless that becomes like a lot of the time. And then there's a problem. But this as like a framework for balancing yourself and balancing your life has been so fucking freeing for me. So lightening because it's like, yeah, I'm still on the same adventure. I've had a couple crappy days in a row, but that doesn't mean the adventure's over or worthless or a wash or not worth pursuing. It just means that I've had a couple days of the crappy third in a row. And I'll keep my eye out, and if I don't have a slightly better day sometime soon, then I'll become worried. But the fact that I'm having a couple crappy days in a row is actually normal. It's actually an indication that things are going well and that I'm pushing hard and that I'm moving in a direction and that there's struggle involved, and that can make life worthwhile. Maybe I should take notes about the stuff I'm struggling with and put them in my journal so that I remember them for the future and cement them and they can become integrated parts of my personality moving forward. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh, it's almost like that's what Hino does. It's almost like that's what he's about to do when he doesn't find his little memoirs. So cool. I think it's a really great little scene, and I think that thematically it's ding right on and powerful stuff. So that's two really powerful themes that I think we cover in this episode. And then we spend a bunch of time in the winter. The little fish, then chucking the fish back is so cute and so silly. And we just spend a bunch of time here. The scene where Fern takes care of Frieren's hair and takes it all out in this little wide, and they both poof. It's so cute. It's so cute and so sweet the way that they interact. And then we spend a bunch of time just montaging through months in fish pie land where we have only fish pies to eat, and that's all we have to eat. Inside, outside, it's fish pie time. This is really cute. And then it all opens up, and he gives them an option for a different kind of trade in payment. And leads them to where Himmel the hero's memories are. I think the little scene of dipping the hands in the water is really pretty, and this shot in particular of pushing the boat off is really lovely. I really like the way that the water looks under there. And yeah, this is just a cute scene traveling across the waves. We haven't done a lot of that. I wonder what the fuck this is. Like what? Maybe another demon general? I don't know. And we arrive, find the barrier, pop the barrier. Want to see that? That's lovely. Pop the barrier, make our way inside. It's a beautiful location. And find the grimoire. And as she reads through it, we phase into all of these memories for the first time in a POV from Himmel the hero's perspective. And in a sense, she's like seeing herself through his eyes, reliving these nostalgic memories, but from his point of view. We can see it on her face, just like he says. This is quite a connection made by this book, right up to the last blank pages. He sees it and offers it to her. What's in there? The ridiculous Journey's everyday minutia, which, let's be real, is much of what the show Frieren is. In many ways, we're watching like a dramatization and animation of exactly that, the everyday minutia. And from that perspective, we're getting a kind of a secondhand nostalgia through the whole of the show. It's got this feeling to it, like it's nostalgic even while we're in the present. Because we're focused on those moments, those connections, those things that will become memories. Kind of amazing. Now our fare is paid, and he realizes who she is and offers, you should keep it. So she will. Stark gets a cool catchphrase and calls a monster, and we do this whole deadpan getting attacked by an octopus squid kraken thing, which is really silly and goofy. A whole lot of fun to end the episode on. That's our episode, folks. I think it was excellent. I think there is enough here that I would like to go check Sakagabura really quick, so let's go hop on over there. Okay, we got a few. That water one is much of what I want to see. Just gonna grab these. Artist unknown for the montage and for the spinning compass situation. Too bad. I felt like that was somebody really familiar. Artist unknown for the water. This scene almost reminds me of some stuff in like ReZero, oddly. And then the putting the hand in the water feels really similar to other putting hands or feet in water scenes that we've had in Frieren. The way it kind of goes shadowless as it drops in, and it's unique. It feels like I've seen it before. This did feel really impactful. Just the fruit on the ground felt really cool. But this is the whole sequence of all the like detailed taking care of her hair and face and stuff, and then the little eye contact grab. This is Yusuke Sasaki. Cool. Danny Cho hits us with the Kraken and being thrown around by the Kraken. Walking up to Himmel's statue and the moments around it. Okay, and then all the POV shots as well. Kanata Yanagisawa and Artist Unknown. Okay. Really lovely. Scenes that look like they're part of an OP in some ways. Yeah. And then top cut is Mai Toda and Masahiko Kubo. Oh, this is Kubo. That sort of slow-mo, fallen over, slicing, dicing, running, jumping. Yeah, it's cool. And then the big Katamari is like the highlight of the thing in terms of the idea present. It's cool. Yeah, it's neat. It's just hard to match up to last episode's incredible Utapon stuff and crazy animator crossover collab. It's just hard to match that. But I think this episode does a lot on the thematic front, and so it gets 2 thumbs up from me. We will come together once more next week for the final episode of season 2 of Frieren. I'm looking forward to it and also very sad that it's ending, but one more episode to savor, y'all. Thanks for watching this one with me. I hope to catch you next week for the last one. See you in the Patreon if you want early access, or I'll see you right here on the YouTube for more next week. Much love. Peace.